Hello everyone, I go by the name Prime Boy, and I keep seeing a lot of rumors out there. Something happened on Sunday, this happened on Sunday, maybe that leads to death of Mohbad. Nothing happened on Sunday. Nothing happened. Kò sí nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ láàrin mi àtọ̀rẹ́ mi. We were fine from the island. Mohbad text me on Saturday. Come to the island. Ó pè mí video call. Because anytime I see his call, I'm always happy. I was at Ikorodu when he called me then. So he called me, okay, come. To Nairobi. So I have to go because I called him when he was at Nairobi. I have the screenshot of the video here. He always called me, stay there, let me mark pay me. He paid this, that, Ibrahim, Kinikon, Moani, Obamiran, Combo, Kinikon. Man, just alone. I gain a lot from Mohbad every time. Man, gain, he can go me. So tell me, that no man gain, that no gain, he can lower.
Welcome back, guys. I trust you've been staying safe. Now, the ongoing case of Mohbad and the investigation into his death has taken another surprising turn, if I dare say. 5 suspects are in custody, and the police are looking to unravel the various roles that they played in the sequence of events that eventually led to the demise of this rising star. Here are the 5 suspects. The first suspect, who is actually considered as the prime suspect, is an auxiliary nurse. This nurse is named Fei Sayu Ugedengbe, and she is the nurse who is accused of administering certain injections to Mohbad, which allegedly eventually led to him passing on. So she is the first suspect. Then there is a second suspect who is also key in the sequence of events that led to Mohbad's passing, and he is none other than Mohbad's childhood friend by name Prime Boy. He is also an upcoming musician. If you don't know Prime Boy, that is his picture, but then he is the guy who was actually driving the vehicle and making that live video telling the world that Mohbad had passed on the day that Mohbad passed. How come he is in this as a prime suspect too? I'll get to it. The third person is another friend of Mohbad by name Spending. He is the one who allegedly went in for this auxiliary nurse. I hope you are following. Okay, now the fourth and fifth are none other than the usual suspects, Sam Larry and Naira Marley. So these are the famous 5 in the suspected murder or mistaken death of Mohbad. This is how each of them are accused of playing various roles in the passing of Mohbad. I'll start with his so-called childhood best friend, Prime Boy. Now, Prime Boy was under scrutiny after Mohbad's passing. Everybody was actually under scrutiny as long as you've been around Mohbad or you've had an issue with Mohbad. People were actually seeking to be sure that you are not a suspect. So a lot of people were under the microscope of the public, with the public trying to connect dots, which sometimes honestly were not even there. And Prime Boy was one of the people in that conversation. He came out to actually make a video that he didn't do anything to Mohbad because there were rumors that they had a fight just a few days before Mohbad's passing. But then Prime Boy came out to make a video stating that he didn't have any fight with Mohbad. However, investigations now are revealing something totally different. According to police, Prime Boy actually had a fight with Mohbad just a day or two before his passing, and that in this fight, Mohbad eventually is alleged to have gotten injured as a result. If that is the case, how come Prime Boy didn't talk about this? That is the first question. It doesn't end there. Now, as a result of that injury, Mohbad therefore needed medical attention. Looking at the pedigree of Mohbad, a rising musician who obviously at this point in his career and life is not struggling financially, one would expect that he should go to a hospital. But some way, somehow, that didn't happen. Instead, one of his friends went in for an auxiliary nurse in the person of Miss Feisayu Ogedengbe to come to Mohbad's house and attend to him medically. Now, per the reports out there, his wife was also in the house at this time. I'll come to why I'm stating this. So this auxiliary nurse comes in and it's alleged that she administered 3 injections. Now, these injections, according to reports, consisted of tetanus toxoid, paracetamol, and citrazone, which is an antibiotic. And she administered all these 3 injections to Mohbad at his residence on the 12th of September 2023. It is reported that these medications are said to have triggered an immediate reaction. And these reactions included vomiting, goosebumps, and then a sudden convulsion of Mohbad. And it looks like this was where the whole thing started going south. Further investigations have actually revealed that this auxiliary nurse was unqualified to perform the role of a home nurse, and she did so in a non-clinical environment, and as such, she was professionally negligent. It's so sad how these things get to repeat themselves here in Africa. If you go to my playlist, you see a case where a doctor who is actually also doubling as a pastor has been practicing as a doctor for over 20 years in Nigeria and has recently been found out to have been stealing kidneys of his patients, only for the Nigerian Medical Association to allegedly come out and issue a statement that this doctor doesn't have any license to operate as a doctor, and as such, he's a quack doctor. How come this guy has been operating for over 20 years in that country and nobody has busted him? And he is so well known, he has set up his own medical facility. He is a pastor, he's on TV preaching. How do people get to do all these things and it's as if there are no laws in some countries? I don't know. If you have further insights on this, you can let me know. But I think that we are failing ourselves as a people of some of these countries as we look on, especially with institutions that are supposed to be the gatekeepers of such professions, because they are delicate, they can affect human lives positively and adversely, as has played out in the case of Mohbad. In law, it turns out that Prime Boy actually fought with him and injured him. That's what the report is saying. Now, in law, there is something called take your victim as you find him. I don't know if that same law applies there in Nigeria, but in Ghana, it's there. Such that through that fight, he injured Mohbad. If Mohbad were to pass on or had passed on as a result of that injury, the death could possibly still be attributed to Prime Boy because his injury led to his passing. But in this case, there could be a twist because professional negligence has come in where the nurse has come in to perform medical roles that she's not qualified to perform. That might break the chain of causation. And I'm waiting to see how this case will play out according to the laws of Nigeria, because I think that this is going to be an interesting case, although it's unfortunate, it's at the expense of the passing of Mohbad. But the case doesn't end there. So we've touched on the auxiliary nurse, we've touched on his best friend, Prime Boy, and then his other friend, Spending. He just went to bring in this auxiliary nurse. But because of the conspiracy theories out there, he can't be left out of the conversation. He would have questions to answer. But then, before I get to Naira Marley and Sam Larry, my question is, if auxiliary nurse came to his house to attend to him, how come There is also an alleged eyewitness giving an account that he saw him at a hospital being rushed in by Prime Boy, and that Mohbad was okay, they were chatting and all, and then he saw Mohbad being rushed out. Was that false? Or is that to say that the testimony they are giving to the police rather is twisted? Because it doesn't add up for me. Let me know what you think in the comment section if I'm missing something or if you agree with me. Now, to Sam Larry and Naira Mali, these guys have been suspects from day one. And for Naira Mali, I'll come to him last. But for Sam Larry, I think that some video evidences of a sort are out there. And he is being held for alleged or suspected bullying of Mohbad. So it's also not yet clear whether that bullying had any link to his ultimate passing. They could be unrelated, just that the guy has passed, so it's as if, yeah, you are still in the conversation because you were bullying him not long ago. But I think that when the case gets to trial, this chain or these sequences will be broken into the categories that they fit in. The fact that you are bullying somebody 2 weeks ago and the person passes afterwards, and it's attributed to a nurse's negligence, which was necessitated because somebody else fought him and injured him. I don't think that should extend to the guy who was bullying him as one of the perpetrators of his passing. He can be tried on the bullying and assault, but I don't think Naira Marley and Sam Larry will go all the way to be tried and actually convicted as one of the possible killers, if any, of Mohbad. I doubt they'll get to that extent. For Naira Marley, I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually acquitted and discharged in the end as being innocent of the charges, because I'm yet to see any information out there linking him to anything that Sam Larry is alleged to have done. Naira Marley is in this because he had a falling out with Mohbad. Mohbad made that video. If I pass on, ask the Malians, but there hasn't been any substantial evidence I have seen in my search linking Naira Marley directly to anything that has played out so far. Only conspiracy theories and sensationalism and emotions running wild because a beautiful soul of Mohbad has been lost. But legally, I haven't seen anything yet about Naira Marley being a key suspect as far as evidence is concerned. Now, after touching on these five guys, let's talk about his wife. I mentioned she was in the room at the time the auxiliary nurse came. Now, people are asking questions. Usually, if a spouse passes on under mysterious circumstances, the surviving spouse is one of the first suspects. You need to be cleared that you are not actually a suspect. That has not yet happened with his wife. And to think that when Mohbad passed on, she took to social media and blogs talking about what had happened to her husband, but she didn't go to the police. And she referred to her husband with the N word. I think that she also needs to be granted a conversation with the police just so they can cross her off the list if she's innocent or if she doesn't have any part to play. Because I think that she can't just be left like that, especially when she is benefiting financially from everything the guy has done, per reports out there. That, in some jurisdictions, could also be considered as a form of motive. So I don't think the police should leave her out of this conversation. I think that she should be brought into the conversation at least per routine, so they are sure of what she knows and what she doesn't know. Because now a second wave of conspiracy theories are coming out talking about the fact that she could also be a suspect because some videos are surfacing and some chats are also surfacing where Mohbad, just like he did with Naira Marley and the Malians in his video that if he passes, they should be the suspects, is actually saying a similar thing about his wife, meaning that things were not so rosy between them. So it means that the police actually need to extend their search and investigations to Mohbad's wife if they are already not doing that, because there could be something there or there may not be anything there. But I'm sure they understand and appreciate the fact that they have to be sure of all these by getting to talk to her. This is unfortunate that this has happened to a young guy like this who had such a promising future. But then, I'm following the case. As updates are due, I'll bring them to you. But then, tell me what you think about this. Who do you think is actually responsible? Who do you think should be held accountable? Do you think Naira Marley and Sam Larry, are supposed to be in the mix of people suspected of having a hand in the death of Mohbad? Or you think that they've been roped in per past history and sensationalism, and maybe their case should be treated separately? What about the wife? Do you think that there's something there that the police should look at? Or you think that these conspiracy theories are coming from people who are just not satisfied and looking for others to blame as well as the people who have already been arrested? Do you think there's another theory that is yet to be looked at? Let me know. And if you are watching this video, I'm from Ghana, West Africa. If you want to understand or get to know more about my country, my culture, just go to the description. You would see a link to my second YouTube channel showing you various beautiful aspects of my culture in my country, Ghana. Just go there, subscribe, and enjoy the content. I'll catch you next time. Keep an eye out and stay safe out there.